Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video. So today what I want to talk to you about is different forms of writing. If you had a look at my last video, it was on simplifying the writing curriculum. And so this video, I want to just focus on the different forms of writing so that you have a better understanding of the different kind of writing styles that you want to be teaching, inshallah ta'ala. Now, I hope you're enjoying this series so far. I will be doing a few videos on different topics of writing. So hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a lot more confidence. And my goal is obviously I can't teach everything in a short video. However, I think it will give you enough for you to do your own Google searches and come up with more ideas. But I do have a course on this particular topic, how to teach paragraph writing, especially for Muslim children. Inshallah, and if you're interested in that, please get in touch with me or leave a comment and I will set that up for you all. All right, so let's begin. So the different forms of writing, there are generally speaking 4 types of writing styles, okay? And they are expository, descriptive writing, persuasive writing, narrative writing. So if you have a look at all types of writing pieces, they generally fall under one of those. Now, why is it important to know this, to know that there are different forms of writing? Why can't we just give our students a topic to write about and let them just write it out? The reason is because the different types of writing have a different purpose, and each purpose has its own style. And its own kind of, I guess, rules, and own word choices, and its own forms of supporting details, types of supporting details that make that piece of writing more appropriate. So I recommend that you do spend time teaching each form of writing. Right? So for example, you might spend some time teaching expository writing, and there are different types of, there's different types that fall under that. Spend some time teaching descriptive writing, spend some time teaching persuasive writing. Every year, I think you should try to teach these different forms of writing because there's so much to learn under it. And it's also important to teach them separately because then it gives you as the teacher the opportunity to model it and to walk the students through it step by step. So let's break each one down. The first one is expository writing. Okay, so it's the most common form of writing, and the purpose of an expository piece of writing is to explain something or to inform somebody of something or to give some kind of instructions, for example. And it's not opinion based. It's not it's not based on an opinion. You're not trying to convince somebody of anything. It's more so it uses more facts or known facts. So it's not it's not opinion based. Some examples include explanatory paragraphs, instruction paragraphs, where you're given instructions on how to do something, perhaps like a recipe, how to paragraphs, reports, directions, and things like report writing as well, and or writing information about a particular topic. For example, a paragraph about the different forms of biodomes or different types of soil, for example. This will all fall under expository paragraph. The second type of writing is called descriptive paragraphs. You don't have to teach in this order, by the way. You teach it according to whatever suits your yearly plan, inshallah. It doesn't have to be, there's no particular order, but it's just that I just want to share the different types and styles. So the purpose of a descriptive paragraph is, as it is, to describe something. And it's basically painting a picture of a person or a place or a thing using words, or even describing an event, something that happened using the 5 senses, like how it felt when you entered this place and what you saw, what you heard, and things like that. So in this type of writing, again, you're not trying to convince anybody of anything. You are not giving an opinion. You are not necessarily informing about something, but you are kind of informed, but you're more so describing something, how it looks, so that the person who is reading the descriptive paragraph or whatever it may be can paint their own picture of how it looks. Okay, so that's expository and descriptive writing. And then there is persuasive writing, okay, or argumentative writing. And the purpose of this form of writing is to convince the reader of something, to convince the reader of an opinion or of your viewpoint, or to persuade them to do something, or to argue a case. And so here, yes, your opinions are included in this type of writing, and it is backed up with facts. Okay, so you state your opinions on why something should be a certain way, and then the writer uses facts. Now, depending on the age group, you're not always going to require them to go pull out statistics and actual real facts, but they will be using reasons, more so reasons to back up their opinion. So if you had them write, for example, why homework is important, for example, or why students should not be given homework, then they would be listing their reasons to back up their argument. They would have an opinion, they would be listing their reasons to back up that. But as they progress and they get older and their writing improves, then you also want to start including more technical tasks, more research, and your expectations of what they publish will be higher. And just as a side note, when it comes to the writing curriculum, and hopefully you watched my previous video, the writing curriculum simplified, it's pretty much the same for every grade in every year, and that's why it's okay for you to teach multiple grade levels the same topics in the same curriculum. What's different is the expectation you have of the child. The expectations you have are going to be different. So you would expect more sophisticated ideas from older students. You'd expect better word choices and better research from older students. So, or even more text, longer. Like if it's a grade 1 or grade 2, perhaps a paragraph is sufficient to you if it has 3 to 5 sentences. Whereas a student in grade 4 or 5, you would require them to add more details, more examples, and perhaps you would expect from them 7 to 10 sentences. And then grade 6 to grade 8, you would require more longer pieces, perhaps short essays, for example. All right, so I went over expository types of writing, descriptive, persuasive, and the fourth one is narrative writing. And so narrative writing tells a story. It narrates something. There are usually characters involved, or a character setting, some kind of plot, or sometimes just a personal narrative where it's just the person talking about something that happened. But the point is, it tells a story, so therefore it has a beginning, it has an end, and it has to be in sequence according to how things happen in chronological order, because you are narrating a story. So some examples are like short stories, as I said, personal narratives. These are all forms of narrative writing. So what's different between all of them is that the purpose is different. Okay, so if the purpose for writing is different, one is to narrate, one is to persuade, one is to describe, and one is to explain or to inform, then therefore the details will have to be different as well. So if it's a narrative writing, perhaps they'll be using things like first this happened, then this happened. Even the transitional words also will be different. And if it's to inform, you'll probably be giving examples. If they're persuading, they'll be giving reasons, and so on. Now, I think, as I mentioned before, I think it's really important to teach I think for me, personally speaking, the best way to teach these forms of writing is to always start with paragraph writing. to teach them how to write a persuasive paragraph, or a or a narrative paragraph, or a informative paragraph, or explanatory paragraph. And the reason is because before you get them to write longer pieces of writing or more complex pieces of writing, such as a report or a biography or whatnot, they need to be able to understand what the components of longer pieces of writing are. So longer pieces of writing are just basically groups of paragraphs that all talk about one main idea. So before you can get to that, it's better to teach them the blocks of those the blocks that make up those longer pieces of writing, which is paragraph writing. I had a grade 8 class that I was teaching language arts, and mashallah, they were good. They were great readers, and so they had some ideas, and they had good uses of language, and even their spelling and their grammar, all that stuff was pretty good, to be honest. But when they put their information on paper, it was kind of all over the place. And so I had to go back to the building blocks. I had to teach them how to write a paragraph and how to organize your ideas, depending on the purpose of that paragraph. And then by the end, mashallah, they were able to write more longer pieces of writing. They were writing editorial pieces for newspapers. Well, we didn't submit to any newspapers, but we did a newspaper unit. And so now I could teach them how to write an editorial piece, which is an opinion-based essay, basically. It's an opinion-based paper. But before you can get there, they needed to know how to actually organize that information into a paragraph. So hopefully that makes sense, inshallah, and I hope you found that useful. And like I said, I do have a course on this where I go into the details and give examples. And if you're interested, inshallah, just let me know in the comments. Assalamu alaikum.